Leaning on the Pitchfork with Trace and Matt.
Hello, this is Leaning on the Pitchfork with Trace and Matt, or is it Matt and Trace?
I don't know. Whatever. Could be Matt or Trace.
We always ask that.
I know. And I think some days we do it as Matt and Trace, and other days we do it as Trace and Matt.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Whatever.
Well, we'll figure it out. I'll look back.
We're both leaning on the pitchfork, so.
Yeah, we're leaning. So what does Leaning on the Pitchfork mean exactly? You came up with the title, and I never really heard this one before.
Well, I don't really know if it's a saying as such, but, being a farmer, you kind of lean on the pitchfork and shoot the crop and talk away. And if somebody comes into the barn and you're doing chores,
Shoot the breeze.
You shoot the breeze.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, I think something like that, right? So.
And you kind of lean on the pitchfork. You don't lean on the pitchfork, though, with the prongs up.
Okay, you don't want to do that, no.
No.
So it's sort of like water cooler talk for like the office thing. Not as cool, though. Leaning on the pitchfork's more of the farmer, rural way. Yeah, that's good. So, okay. So for anyone that is listening right now for the first time, congratulations, because this is actually our first episode, because this would be the first time for anybody listening.
A year and a bit.
Yeah, so this is the ground roots. So we're just starting off here. We decided to do a podcast. So here we are.
Here we are.
Where are we?
We are located in Appleton, Ontario, just outside of Almont, sort of between Almont and Carleton Place, Ontario. And we are located at the wonderful North Lanark Regional Museum. Now, the thing is, the North Lanark Regional Museum is really a hidden little gem here. And in 1965, a group of locals decided that they wanted to preserve the history of our area. And the motto, preserve what we have gained. That is the motto of it. And the museum was originally a former SS number 11 Appleton schoolhouse, but unfortunately, even though it was built in 1878, it was built, the original schoolhouse.
All right.
But see, you think this is still the original. It's not. Because unfortunately, in 1979, there was a fire.
Okay.
And the museum / old schoolhouse and all the artifacts went up in flames. They rebuilt it, and they used the... I know what they used, I can't remember. I think they used the old... Yeah, it's another building of some kind.
Okay.
That they had moved here. And they officially opened on July 19th, 1980. And this is where we are now.
Okay.
At 647 River Road, Appleton, Ontario. It is a very small museum. Would you agree it's a...
This is a small museum. It's a gem. I like the look of it. You walk in it just right away, you just see all this heritage and history in it, and it's something nice. I like it.
It is. It's there's nothing really flashy about it. It is run by a bunch of volunteers.
Okay.
I sit on the board along with my mom. We're trying to get you and Christine to become members.
This is true. Yep.
And we do what we can. People are always pleasantly surprised when they come here to see what we have to offer. We have a downstairs also with a general store and some other artifacts.
So what do you mean by general store?
So there's a kind of like a general store setup that would have like the old general store stuff that they would sell.
Oh, okay. All the old stuff, like the old cashier.
Yeah, the old cashier, old tin cans of different things and all that.
The cigarettes, old cigarette packages.
Old cigarette packages, yes.
Tins.
The big taboos.
Tobacco tins.
Tobacco tins. Have you ever had tobacco?
No.
Oh, I tried tobacco once when I was a kid. It was disgusting.
Yeah. No, that's like chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
Right? Like, people, it's still around. I think that's like pretty prominent in the hockey culture, right? Like.
Yeah, it's just disgusting. It's just gross.
I remember I used to work at Sunoco way back in the day in Canada, and a lot of Ottawa Senators would come in after practice, and a few of them would get their skulls, their tins of skulls, but they buy like 3.
Is that a form of chewing tobacco?
Yeah, skull. Yeah,
Okay.
Skoal.
Okay, yeah.
Cherry skull. Cherry was like the.
So it had like a cherry flavor?
I guess so. I don't know. Well, the disgusting part about it is how they spit it out.
Especially then you get the guys with the beards and the mustaches.
Yeah,
and
it's nasty.
gross.
Nothing is good with tobacco.
But hey, to everyone's own chew.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Anyway, so it was actually your idea to come and do the podcast here. You and Christine were introduced to the museum last year when we held the spooky story night.
Now, is that an annual event? Because I'm like, right now we're approaching Halloween. And
we are, yeah. I think we're going to try to make it an annual thing. We're doing it again this year, October 26th at 7 p.m. And everybody's welcome. There's going to be a spooky story of the short story to Lamb to the Slaughter. And there'll be a bit of props going on and maybe a bit of scaring. And then there'll be some refreshments afterwards. And then you're welcome to tour the museum and see what all's here. And all we ask is that you don't bring a non-perishable... Is that how non-perishable?
Non-perishable,
for food bank.
Food bank, okay, all right. And then, so that's like an annual event.
It'll be our second year.
It'll be your second year. So we went to it last year. It was fantastic. It really was. I'm looking forward to it this year. So, okay, so what other events would you have here? Like, do you have anything during Christmas or?
So there will be a great big Christmas get together. Mm-hmm. And gosh, I don't know the dates right now, but I know on Friday, October 25th, the day before the spooky thing, we're having the member volunteer support appreciation get together in the evening from 7 to 9. And it'll be a good time to chat. And we thank everybody, able to thank people who support us, who are members, people who just want to see the museum. Everybody's welcome. And there's always good food. Doreen always makes sure that there's lots of goodies and cheese and all that good stuff.
A good spread, right?
Good spread. A good spread is what we call it, yes.
So yeah, like back to Trace and I, we're coming up with the podcast and everything, and we were trying to figure out places to record it, like you were saying. And I looked up. Did I ask ChatGPT? I think I did. I asked ChatGPT where to record podcasts.
Where would be good
options.
spots?
And they suggested library, museum, blah, blah. And then we came up with this. And, this is good. So thank the board. That's nice.
Yeah, no, it's a good way of promoting our little museum. And also we won't be interrupted with dogs barking and people talking and phones ringing and all that good stuff.
We'll see about that. All right. The door here actually is hilarious. Every time it opens, it
says doors open.
Doors open. I've never seen that before. That's.
I think it's so if they're downstairs or something like that, they can.
Oh,
hear.
okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
So that's kind of I guess maybe a bit about us. So we've been coworkers for what? 14 years?
15.
15 years.
I think.
15 years.
2009.
Oh, wow. That's a long time. So directly and indirectly, Matt and I are both EAs for a local school board. Mm-hmm. And we've both opened the school that we work at. We both were hired the first year. We worked in a classroom together with Lisa. And
Shout out to Lisa.
Mm-hmm. And then I ended up moving upstairs to the resource room. And 3 years ago, is this your third year now up with us?
Yeah, third year.
Yeah, and then 3 years ago, Matt moved upstairs, and we're back together again. The double trouble.
To our shenanigans.
Back to our shenanigans. Yeah. Well, you're not so much into the shenanigans as I am.
And then, which led to this podcast, which we decided, why not? Let's just hook up some mics, and here we are. So
basically talk about nothing.
Yeah. So originally we were going to call this Everything About Nothing podcast, right? Because we were like, we want to do a podcast, but we don't want to plan too much ahead.
No.
We just want to shoot the shit.
Exactly. Go by the seat of our pants.
Yeah, exactly. So we're like, okay, let's just do like everything but nothing, because we had our conversations always end up, they're all over the place, and they go everywhere. So it's just like everything about nothing, because we do sort of talk about nothing, but which leads to something. I don't know, but sort of like leaning on the pitchfork banter, I guess. So anyway, so what do we got? What else do we got? How are we going to? This is the first show. How are we going to structure this?
Well, so originally I was thinking I was going to do my vent about movies.
Yes.
And how they don't have coffee in actual cups. Mm-hmm. But then I got thinking the other day, do you know what I think I've realized? Is that we're losing the skill of a good handshake.
Okay. All right. This is true. And what do you think contributed to the lack of skill? There's various things like...
Yeah, I mean, we can say the whole COVID thing and blah, blah, blah.
Even before?
I think even before. And so before we start... Matt and I have not rehearsed this at all. We've joked because I went on an event one time about movies having people holding cups of coffee, and you can tell it's fake cup. It's an empty cup, and it drives me bananas. But we have not rehearsed this, so this is like we really are just doing this off the cuff.
Off the cuff. That could be another name for a podcast.
That's right.
Yes, exactly.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's probably used.
And I was shaking hands with somebody the other day, and it was like a dead limp fish handshake. And it was a younger person, and I thought, like, it is a skill that I think we are starting to lose. I don't think shaking hands is something that people do as often.
My issue with the handshakes now is the lead up to the handshake when you first meet somebody, because I am more than willing to shake hands with this person, but I'm not too sure how comfortable they feel. So this would almost be like a post-COVID thing, because sometimes I feel like they're thinking the same thing. Like, do we shake hands? Do we shake hands? Do we do it? And then I'll initiate, and it's just like it's more about the fact that we're shaking hands. It doesn't feel as natural as it used to be. Yeah,
maybe. I don't think it's as much in the city as it is in the small towns.
Yeah. It was an expectation before. It's like you meet someone, you shake their hand no matter what.
Well, if you just think about it, like how many things over the course of history have been done with a shake of the hand, right? Mm-hmm. It's the old gentleman's way, right? Like if you shake, then it's your word. Mm-hmm. And
then if you're going to shake,
you shake. You don't do this little flumpy
dead
thing.
Fish or
no. You go in there. You extend your hand. You put your hand out. You give it a good firm hold, and you give it a couple of good. And then if you want like a more genuine, you put your hand over the person's and say, it's really nice to meet you. Or
maybe you could do that next time someone gives you like the dead fish handshake. Then you put it over, and then it'll pressure them to. I don't know. Maybe. That's just an idea. Like. Yeah, no, there's some bad handshakes, and that's another reason why maybe I would try to avoid it, but I usually do the handshake.
And then there's the whole, if you're... Because most people shake with their right hand, right? Because most people are right-handed.
Yeah.
So then what happens if, they're holding something in their right hand? Do you then, stand it for your left hand?
Awkward handshake. I've done that.
There is the awkward handshakes. There's no two ways about it.
A few times, and that is especially like when you felt more obligated back in the day to do a handshake. That I didn't like those handshakes, and then the conversation is broken, and no matter what they're saying, you're just thinking about that handshake, and the other person is as well.
Yeah, I still, if any of you young folks are watching or listening, just do the handshake.
What about a fist bump?
Yeah, no, I'm not really.
That's more of like to students or just like.
Yeah. It's what is it? The
like
Gen
Z?
Are they Gen Zs?
Which ones?
I don't know. The students?
Yeah, probably.
The students that we work with? Or what are we? Are we Gen...
I'm Gen X.
Am I Gen X?
Yeah, I think so. Well...
I don't know. What year?
Here, let me find out. Hold on a sec.
I can never keep track of it.
I have ChatGPT up. This is sort of our third host. Just let the listeners know.
But we are going to...
I'm not even sure this is allowed. It just feels like... So I'm going to ask... ChatGPT, what the years of Gen Xers?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Okay. Let me.
But we are going to somewhere down the road.
Okay. Hey, ChatGPT, what years do Gen Xers go from? When did it start? When did it end?
Gen Xers, or Generation X, are typically defined as people born between 1965 and 1980.
Yeah,
This generation
Gen X.
came after the baby boomers and before the millennials.
So we're both definitely Gen X.
Okay, and let me know how long did the millennials last for?
Millennials are generally considered to be born from 1981 to 1996. So their generation follows right after Gen X and goes up until the mid-90s.
What came after?
After millennials come Generation Z, or Gen Z.
Zed.
They're typically born from 19... You're welcome.
Oh, whoops. All right. Okay. No problem, buddy. Okay. Well, that was pretty useful.
Yeah, so we're both Gen X's.
Yeah, that's good. So,
I feel the handshake started to maybe die out with the millennials, the later part of the millennials.
yeah. It was a pre-COVID thing too. Like it became controversial.
Yeah,
Maybe it made some people feel uncomfortable. Not
maybe.
too sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to say, during the COVID, I was living.
You had the long handshake, the fish handshake.
Well, no, I didn't really. I lived on the farm and did Google Meets for work and
For COVID.
for COVID.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
All right. Okay.
So yeah, the handshake. It is a dying. It is a dying skill. I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely think that. I think we need to be doing more handshakes.
So basically, we should start enforcing it more. No. Yeah, I'm going to proudly stick my hand out for a handshake anytime I meet someone new, and that's the only time you shake someone's hand, right?
Or when you're thanking somebody,
Okay.
like after the
yeah.
interview.
Yeah.
You shake a hand before the interview,
You gotta
say
do that,
thank
yes.
you, and then after, thank you for,
But
it's
all
nice to meet you.
interviews are virtual now, aren't they? Not?
Oh, I know, this drives me crazy. I think a lot of them are. I
have no idea, but
and if I'm going to hire somebody, I want to see that person in person.
you want to know their handshake.
I want to know their handshake. I want to know they have a
Base
dead
it
fish,
off their handshake.
dead fish hand.
I've heard that before too, though. But actually, I've encountered some people that really successful, like people, well, with a very weak handshake, and I wonder how. This was way back. So, yeah. So
It's a dying trait. It's a dying skill, and I'm here to make sure it continues on.
All right,
A
okay.
good firm handshake.
Okay. So anyone listening, if you see Trace,
Give me a good firm handshake, not a
Perfect.
dead limp fish, sweaty palm, disgusting one. And you got to look the person in the eye. You got to it's got to be a
Actually-
genuine. Yeah, it's
that's a good point, though. The sweaty palm. Sometimes, like an interview, that is a little stressful. Maybe that's why some people don't like giving handshakes, because
Maybe.
you have some people have sweaty palms, and can't do anything about it. And they don't want to be rubbing their hands on their legs before they.
well, you can though. If you know you're going to be given a handshake, you can easily give your hand a little wipe. I wouldn't wipe it on your shirt or anything as you're going in, but yeah.
All right. Okay. You know what? I gotta ask ChatGPT the history of handshakes.
Yeah, okay.
All right. We'll see what he says. I'm just curious. ChatGPT, can you give me a brief history of handshakes?
Sure. Handshakes have been around for a long time. Their history dates back to ancient times,
Okay.
with depictions of handshakes found in Greek and Roman art. Originally, they were a symbol of peace, showing that neither person was carrying a weapon. Over time, handshakes evolved into a common greeting and a way to seal agreements. They've taken on various forms in different cultures, but the basic idea of using a handshake as a gesture... No problem.
What? I gotta stop. Yeah, that's good enough.
So do you keep pressing the button or something?
No, I'll just say and then when I say it thinks I'm done. It's just okay. That's, I guess, his prompt of shutting up, I suppose. I don't know, but that's funny.
So the funny story is when we decided we were going to do GPT,
Which isn't all accurate, but it's
No.
a good, fun conversation.
yeah. Matt said to me, ask it a question. And do you remember what I asked it?
Should we try it?
Yeah.
Right now? Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm sure it'll hear you. Okay. Hold on a sec. All right. Just give me a second here. I want you to ask it though. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So this is the first question I asked.
Okay. When I give you the thumbs up, ask.
Okay. Hey, why sometimes when you fart does a bubble of gas go up the crack of your bum?
Well, that's a curious question. When you release gas, it follows the path of least resistance. If you're sitting or lying down, the gas might not be able to escape straight down, so it travels upwards, creating that bubble sensation. It's just your body's way of moving the gas out in the most efficient way it can.
Okay, that's not the
That
answer.
was very helpful. Thank you.
That's when I asked it the first time, they replied with, "That's actually a very common question."
Yeah, I know, right? But it changes. It's like that's AI. It evolves, right? It just keeps growing.
So can we give our
that was actually a better answer
yeah,
than last time.
Can we give our AI a name? Like, can we call him something?
ChatGPT. Give it credit.
Chat G. I'm never going to remember.
JT.
JT. JP. J. Chat what?
GPT.
GPT. All right, I'm writing that down so I remember it.
Chat.
Friggin' fly.
Chatbot. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Well, this will evolve. The podcast move on. Next episode, it'll grow a little bit more. Next thing you know, we'll have a full structure. The listeners will be like, okay, I know what's coming on next. Right now, we don't even know what's coming on next, right?
No,
That's okay.
the only thing is we have one of those stupid flies. Why is that
There's
always
a
happening?
fly.
There's always. You ever notice if you go out to a restaurant?
But that adds to the ambience of being in this museum, North Lanark Regional Museum. It
Located in Appleton, Ontario.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, 647 River Road.
All right, Mississippi Mills. I have this other pamphlet. I was looking. There's like a whole display of pamphlets, and so this. I grew up this area. This would have been Almont here, right?
So this would have formerly been known as Ramsey.
Then Ramsey, okay.
So there was Ramsey, and then there was Pakenham.
Yeah, I
And
know.
then there was Almont.
And Almont was more of just
The town.
The town.
And then back, I don't know how many years ago,
Mm-hmm.
they joined it all together
It's Mississippi Mills.
and is now known as Mississippi Mills, which causes a bit of a rip roar. Some of the locals, if they have children, the birth certificates now says Mississippi Mills.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when this first happened, a lot of people were upset that the birth certificates of their young ones said Mississippi Mills and not Almont.
I could see that being a little bit upsetting, especially like I know there's like a, like people like
A
from
little bit
Almont
of pride.
have a lot of pride, not a little bit, which is a great thing, and that would hurt. It was I remember living. Well, it's not the same. I lived in Canada as a child, and it amalgamated with Ottawa. I'd say 2000, like
I don't know.
early 2000s.
I'm from
late
Almont.
90s. Yeah. And that was a big deal. So it went like Nepean, and it all came together. And I'd have to look into that a little bit more when it was. But that was a big deal back then. Just seeing the City of Canada signs sort of be put down, and just City of Ottawa, suddenly the City of Ottawa logo, that ugly logo. That looks like a flushing toilet. You know the O?
Oh, yeah.
Looks like a
Yeah.
toilet flushing.
Yeah, it does actually.
Yeah, I know. Right?
I never thought about that.
Next time you see it, be like, that's a flushing toilet. It's crazy.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Mississippi Mills has a lot of history. Do you know what we're probably most famous for?
I would say the invention of basketball.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Correct. What do we know?
James Naismith.
James Naismith, born and raised in Almont. Just actually, his home is only maybe about 2 minutes from our place.
I've been there for a wedding.
Yeah, they have it as a wedding venue now. It's nice.
Beautiful place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard. I've never been there, but I've heard it's.
And then also in downtown Almont, if you're ever shopping, window shopping or whatever, there's quite a nice statue of.
There is. And also, another famous person from Almont that doesn't get near the recognition is Artie Mackenzie, who was a world-renowned sculptor
Okay.
and did the sculpture for Winds of the Brother And I think it was Winds of the Brother. I shouldn't say that. I should know this. I worked at the Mill of Quintel.
Winds of the Brother.
What, something like that. I get things so mixed matched.
What's his name?
R. Tate McKenzie.
R. Tate?
R. Tate. Robert Tate McKenzie.
I see. Let's just look this up. R. Tate.
But
okay.
He is the father of physiotherapy and play structures.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
It is.
All right.
And over in Scotland, there's a famous sculpture called The Last Soldier, I think it's called, or something like that. He did that.
One called The Athlete.
The Athlete.
1903, which I actually recognize.
And he did the Heinzman, I think it's the Heinzman Trophy.
Okay.
Is that the one with all the guys tackling each other? Is that the Heinzman? It's American. Is Heinzman American or Canadian?
I'm not too sure about that part. We'd have to...
This really squeaks, eh?
Yeah, it's fine. That's okay. Well, let's just look up here. R. Tate McKenzie, famous sculptures.
He,
The Competitor,
the competitor?
General James Wolfe, The Homecoming. Is that what you're thinking of?
Maybe, yeah.
Or no, you already mentioned that, right?
He did the for the Calgary Olympics. They used one of his sculptures of the 5 speed skaters, I think it is, or something like that.
Okay.
So he is he doesn't get near the recognition.
It would sort of overshadow, like a James Naismith would definitely.
But interesting enough, they were best friends.
Oh, interesting.
They were best friends. And one of the other museums in our area is the Mill of Quintel,
Okay.
which is where the boys would go and play. Mm-hmm. And there was a big rock there, and they would put smaller rocks on the bigger rocks, and then they try to throw and knock the rocks off, and they called it Duck on the Rock.
Okay.
And that's where James Naismith got his idea for basketball.
Duck on the Rock.
Duck on the Rock.
I've heard of Duck on the Rock.
Yes.
Maybe you told me that story.
I probably have.
So what you're saying is, there was a game that they played called Duck on the Rock, and it has a general. They're just shooting
Rocks at other rocks on top of a big rock. Basically, that's what they're
I could
saying.
see that sort of basketball spawning from something.
Yeah,
like that.
and then years later, R. Tate McKenzie bought the mill where they played and turned it into him and Ethel's summer home, and it's now a museum filled with all his artifacts and everything.
And
quite cool.
Where's that?
It's at the Mill Quintel, which is on the 8th line.
Okay.
I don't know what the actual address is. I can look it up real quick, but
So, one thing about James Naismith, so he lived in Almont, right? Did he grow up in Almont?
he grew up in Almont, and
But then he did not invent basketball in Almont.
no, he invented it down in Massachusetts, I believe, right?
Okay.
Somewhere down there, as a summer sport to keep the football players in shape. So the Mill of Quintel address is 2854 Ramsey Concession 8.
Okay.
And it's got nice walking trails and everything like that. So,
Okay, you know what? I'm on Wikipedia right now, and they, just for James Naismith, and they even mention Duck in the Rock. Duck on the Rock. They give it credit
yeah.
for, interesting.
So the rock is down at the mill, the museum.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a nice spot.
Well,
a
it's
beautiful
like
spot.
quite the tourist attraction in a way. Like I was shopping downtown Almont, and I saw this sculpture of Naismith, and there was a family that they clearly just got there, and they went and took a picture next to the sculpture, and I believe that was like the only reason why. Like they were all wearing basketball jerseys, had a basketball in their hand and everything. Like that was like the big thing. Like I think they were just really excited to be at the birthplace of basketball in a way, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
It is.
It is. It's a cool piece of history that we have. Two remarkable men who made an impact on the history, on world.
So-
Imagine if basketball had never been invented.
James Naismith and R. Tate
Mackenzie.
All right, cool. So
Yeah.
I have to look into them a little bit more. Another thing, when I think of Almont as well, I think of UFOs. I can't help it.
Yeah, I don't really know a lot about this, but I
Yeah.
know there was apparently some sightings down what we call, I think it was in the Burnt Lands, wasn't it?
Old Almont Road.
Yeah.
The Burnt Lands isn't
No,
right there. Burnt Lands
well,
is
the
more
Burnt Lands kind
March.
of march, and then it kind of goes across. So if anybody doesn't know what the Burnt Lands is, it's actually one of the provincial parks. It's
really?
it's considered one of the seven wonders of Lanark County, Canada. I don't know, something like that. But so back in, talk here for a minute, Matt. I got to look this up.
Okay, so when I think of UFOs and Almont, I specifically think there was an episode. Remember the TV show Unsolved Mysteries, hosted by Robert Stack, big American show? They came and they shot an episode or a segment about a UFO sighting in Almont, on Old Almont Road. It was actually across the road from a good friend of mine. I used to skateboard at his house all the time, and it felt surreal that, like, I think people still talk about that sighting because there was some cassette tapes that were I don't know who gave it to him. There was like someone called The Guardian, I believe. And he recorded it, and he gave the cassette tapes, I don't know, to Unsolved Mysteries or something. We'll have to look into that more. But it just became like quite the
Came a thing. So the Burnt Lands, what happened was in 1870, a large forest fire swept the region. I'm sounding very professional because I'm reading this. Destroying hundreds of farms and lands and eroding even more than the thin layer of soil. And that's how it ended up being called the Burnt Lands. It is actually a national provincial park. And what they discovered is that there is plants growing there that's the only spot that they can be found. It is a bit of a wonder. Is it really, is it breathtaking? Not really. It's just a bunch of flat land.
It's kind of sad looking.
It is. It is. But it's got a lot of great trails, and I guess there's lots of wildlife. Like,
we used to rip around on like old cars in there.
yeah, they now have it all bare. Like, you can't drive in there anymore. They have rocks up.
It was pretty crazy back.
And all that. But it went from pretty well from Almont, Carleton Place, right into Ottawa. Nice. There's actually a book written by it about it, and I can't think it was a local gentleman who wrote it. Unfortunately, he has since passed away. But he did a great research on it, and I think you can get it at any of the local bookstores.
Okay. So I'm looking back at the Unsolved Mysteries episode. So I believe it was shot February 3rd, or aired maybe February 3rd, 1993. And I'm going to take a look at it. I want to look into that a little bit more. And I feel like it would have been in the Burnt Lands, so.
Yeah, well, I think it was. I think it's where a group of people said they saw some lights or something. I don't really know much about it, I have to be honest. And that I can't find the book I'm looking for.
I'm surprised about that, actually.
But, yeah.
All I know is that there was like an infamous tape that was handed, like it was recorded. It's just like a really crappy VHS footage of lights flashing. People claim they were weather balloons, but that's always a claim with UFOs.
Do you believe in UFOs?
I believe in, what are they? UAP.
What?
unidentified aerial phenomenon. Yeah. They change it. I do believe in UFOs because there are unidentified flying objects, right? But aliens, I'm not too sure about. I'm not going to say I believe in aliens. I'm not going to say I don't believe in it. I have no idea. How the hell would I know?
Yeah, well, that's it. We don't know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's always that, what's that big spot down in the States there? Zone 71 or whatever it's called.
Oh, you really don't know much about it.
What's it called?
Zone 71. What the hell is it called now? Area 51.
Area 51. Area 51. Yeah.
That's good.
That supposedly they have all the aliens.
I don't buy that anyway, but
And,
you never know. There's no like Men in Black stuff going on in there, but I think there's like definitely a top
Men
secret.
in Black. That was a great movie.
Yeah, it was a great movie. There's definitely top secret stuff going on in there. And, who knows?
Yeah, you never know. You never know. I mean, look at the Diefenbunker. There was some pretty interesting stuff going on there when they were getting ready for the Cold War.
So speaking of the Diefenbunker, there's 2 Diefenbunkers.
There is.
I didn't know that up until not that long ago.
I think I told you.
Well, no, we definitely talked about it. So the second Diefenbunker
Is in Carp.
And the first one.
They actually did it just outside of Almont, sort of towards Pakenham, but apparently it kept flooding,
Okay.
so they couldn't do it there.
So is it?
I guess the Prime Minister couldn't be in a scuba suit. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe that would help.
I don't know.
So what is it now? Did they just fill it with like sand?
So they used to have it. At one point, whoever owned the land allowed people to go and scuba dive.
Okay.
And but that has since been stopped, just obviously because of legal issues and all that. I mean, we've gotten
It'd be disgusting too.
Well, yeah, but would it be disgusting? Like you're in a scuba suit.
Yeah.
I mean, is it any different than going and scuba diving in some dirty old, lake? Or...
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, no, lakes. I wouldn't. First of all, I wouldn't never scuba dive ever.
No, why?
It's kind of high risk. You're pretty. I don't know. The bends kind of freaks me out. Snorkeling I would do.
Yeah.
But all it takes is watch a few videos about the bends.
I'd just be afraid I'd be scuba diving and I'd find some stuff and move it around and find a dead body. It's like in the States there when the drought hit there a couple of years ago and that reservoir was drying up and they were finding all those bodies in the oil cans and everything that had been dropped there by the mafia from the 70s and that. Did you hear about that?
No, but it sounds believable.
Really? Yeah, no, it is. They found some body of some mafia guy that had gone. No Hoffman or anything like that.
Or Hoffa?
Hoffa, not Hoffman.
So
I'm such an idiot when I talk.
So yeah, no, I finding a dead body actually wouldn't bother me. It would be awful, but the other scary thing is I think it was the movie Open Water where they scuba dive and it's like an excursion.
That fly again.
Yeah, the flies all over. And the people running the excursion forget about them. So they take off on their boat. They get all the other tourists who are scuba diving. And the couple, they're still...
Oh, okay, so they just forget a couple. So
yeah, and so then they resurface to the water, right? And they're in the middle of the ocean and there's no one there. That would suck.
Yeah, that would really suck. So I lived in New Zealand for a year.
Yeah.
In my late 20s, well, mid 20s, and worked on a farm. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm a farmer. I farm with my mom.
We're going to get into a lot of that.
My cows do not cause
future episodes. There's going to be a lot.
My cows are not the main cause for climate change.
There's going to be a lot of farming. I can guarantee there's going to be a lot of farming content, which is amazing. I can't wait.
So, save my cows. So I went through an agriculture exchange program, and I lived with a family over in New Zealand, Ak and Ray, and their daughter Lauren, and I had an amazing time. Like they were an amazing family, and we milked jerseys because we milk jerseys here. So I wanted to make sure I had a Jersey farm. And but anyways, we were milking one day, and I'd say I'd only maybe been there like 3 weeks or so. I was just still getting to know the layout of the place and the family. And it came on the news that a fishing boat had gone down, and that the crew had all gotten off, but this captain, being a captain, stayed with the boat, and he went down. And so the year I went over was the same year that JFK Jr. went down on the plane.
Oh, yes. Okay, I remember
Right?
that.
And my stepdad and I, Mr. Merle, we always kind of thought it was funny that they went and spent hundreds of hours and hundreds of thousands of dollars, looking for JFK Jr.'s body, only to find it, wrap it up, and then throw it back in the sea. Like, what the hell? Like
That's true. That's a good point.
yeah. So anyways, we were fishing. We were milking this one morning, and it came on that this boat had gone down, and Ox said to me, well, that's my cousin. And I said, gosh, I'm really sorry. Will they be able to retrieve the body? And I can still see Ox staring at me and going like, what? No? Like, why the hell would they retrieve the body? And I thought, oh, jeepers, stupid Tracy. And I said, yeah, I guess so, because of the ocean. He's like, no, why would we spend money going to look for a body when he'll just come up the coast in a couple of days or in a week or so?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, goodness. What have I got myself into here? And sure enough, a week and a half, a couple of weeks later, some old guy was fishing off the rocks, and up the body came, and they had a traditional...
Just a routine. They were expecting it.
Just a routine.
Something
and
that they're used to.
Put them in the boat and send them back off into the ocean. And I don't know if it's so much now, but true Kiwi guys, in their will, they leave a amount of money to buy the booze, because they don't have wakes. Like, I asked would there be a wake, and like I think that the response was something like why the beep 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 would we spend money to go see a dead body? Which, kind of makes sense in
Fair
one way.
enough, yep.
And so, the cousin who died bought all the booze, and there was a big party on the beach.
Nice, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people would like that.
Yeah.
I don't know about waiting for the body to resurface, but I mean, what other way of doing it? It makes sense. Well, first of all, I can't swim in lakes because I have to have the water to be like 110 degrees. Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
But also, you get that, what's underneath me. And
once you start thinking about that, it really gets to you. Like, I swim in lakes and rivers, the Ottawa River, quite a bit. My parents live on the Ottawa River, and it's good. I'm treading water, but then I think of some of the sturgeons or snappers below me. But it's sort of like going in the biking in the trails, right?
So what would you do if you're ever like
What's
hiking and all of a sudden you find a body? Like, if you hear about these people who do this, this happens all the time to poor people.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell do you do? Stay there, I'll be right back. Don't move.
Not much you can do other than call authorities, I suppose. So.
I guess. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know I'd want to be the person who finds the body. Especially if they've been in the water for a period of time.
Oh, yeah.
And then you hear these horror stories about these people, especially in the third world, who they think they're dead, and then they're about to bury them and they see them breathing or something like that. Happened in Brazil or something.
I always wonder about those stories. Like, are those true? It just seems like a hoax to me.
There was a lady, I think it was in Brazil, but then I also remember when I was a kid, I used to collect like oddball stories out of newspapers and all that. And I remember reading an article one time about these 4 lads who had graduated from high school, decided they were going to go and do a bit of traveling before they went off to university and college or whatever. And they went down to South America, and they were having a great, and this was long before internet, cell phones, or anything like that. It sort of tells you what the age I'm at. And they, 3 of them decided to go do this trip or something. And the one guy decided he was going to go do something else, and then actually come home early and surprise his family. I think that's how it was. Anyways, the three buddies who went on this trip on a bus or whatever, there was an awful accident. The bus went over the cliff and caught on fire and all that. And the family, one of the guys' family was notified because they found ID or whatever, however it was, that there had been this accident and their son was dead. And of course, they just assumed that all four of them were together, right? The fourth guy, who was doing his own thing for the last little while, had no idea any of this had happened. And he went and did his own thing and then came home and he went to surprise his parents.
Oh, jeez.
Walked into the house.
Yeah.
And here there was all these flowers and food and obituary card.
Yeah.
And it was actually the day of his funeral.
My God.
And
Imagine that.
so he went to the church and kind of opened the door and said, hi.
So he went to the house first.
He went to his parents.
It was empty,
But he saw all these sympathy cards and everything like this and realized they think I'm dead for whatever
You'd almost
reason.
want to play it up at that point. Like, show up at the church, I don't know.
I think the mother ended up having almost a heart attack.
Yeah,
I think the mother,
actually, that's pretty scary. Like, I joke about that, but like, if that happened in real life, you were going to... you almost want to let the police or somebody else just kind of slowly fade in the news.
That's
right?
true.
So
that's true. Yeah.
A shock just showing up at the church might be a little much.
And I don't know if he saw. See, I don't know if this is not a big thing in the big cities. I certainly don't think it's a thing in Ottawa. But here, like if somebody passes away, there's obituary cards are placed in stores, restaurants.
Yeah.
Probably same with you for where your folks are from.
Yes, absolutely. In the Beachburg, Pembroke area. Absolutely. La Paz. I noticed that with Almont as well. I went to the Superior restaurant last year and there was a few obituary cards.
Yeah.
Which I think is a nice touch.
Yeah, but I don't think they and also I don't think in the bigger cities they do the decoration service or anything like that at the cemeteries. Yeah. So
it might also depend on whereabouts in the city. Like I feel like there might be pockets that still have that maybe feel, but really, or they think that they do anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, whatever.
Well, that's lovely.
We went from handshakes to death to, and I'm trying to find the lady who.
I want to look into. It's bothering me, this UFO stuff that I brought up, and I don't have much history. So next episode, I want to get into that a little bit more.
All right.
I'm also thinking, I like your rant. That should be like a little segment.
My rant?
Yeah. I can even like put like some music, like traces. No, I won't do that. But I like that. What are you looking up?
The lady, I'm sure it was in Brazil. And they thought she was dead. And they were getting her ready for burial. And they actually...
Did it just happen?
It happened, I think, about a year ago.
You want me to ask ChatGPT?
Sure.
So what would I say? Like the mistaken to be dead. The woman who was mistaken to be dead. Okay,
here. Yeah. Oh, it says a U.S. woman declared dead, found alive at funeral home. A woman in Nebraska who was mistaken for dead at a nursing home and later found to be alive at a funeral home has now really died, authorities have confirmed.
Oh my God. Okay.
Constant Glatz, 74, was declared dead at a nursing home near the state capital Lincoln on Monday. But I thought there was one in Brazil too. Anyways, yeah, so it does happen.
Well, we can list it out. I think that's some good content.
I know there's I've heard that there's different companies out there that will provide you with a cell phone. That some people request that if they die, put a cell phone in the coffin with them in case.
Okay.
In case.
For real?
Yeah. And the other thing I don't know if it's a big trend as much now, but it was at one point where they actually if somebody died, like I think there was this one guy, he died at a young age, like in his 20s or whatever, but he was a boxer. So his funeral was him dressed up with his boxing shorts and gloves on, and they had a ring. They put up a ring, and he was sitting in the corner of the ring, and people would come up and pay respect to him.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
That was a little strange.
I know they used to way back have some people when they were buried, they'd have a bell at the top, with a string going down, so just in case, they woke up, they can pull the string and ring the bell.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if it was ever wrong. Who knows?
Who knows? I don't. Hopefully it won't be me. I have claustrophobia, so.
All right. So, what do you think?
What time are we at here?
We're at 50 minutes.
I think that's good.
That's good. We said like 45 minutes or whatever. So
Yeah.
Well, that's a good start. I
think it's a great start.
It's a great start. Just shooting the breeze.
Leaning
on the pitchfork, right? Leaning on the. So, to everyone listening, this was our first episode. Thanks for staying with us the whole time. We look forward to the next episode.
Yeah, we'll do it probably in 2 weeks or so.
I think, we should, maybe once every 2 weeks or so. Yeah, you'll know. We plan on having it available on Spotify and Apple and other listening.
That's your cup of tea.
Yeah, we'll
I have no idea how to do any of that.
I'd like to talk a little bit about UFOs in Almont and your rant and movies. Movie goofs.
Movies. Oh,
movie goofs. Yeah.
Movies drive me crazy.
So, thank you for listening to Leaning on the Pitchfork.
All right. Till then.
All right.
Stay safe.
All right.